Karibuni tena wapendwa watazamaji katika kipindi chenu mnachokienzi, ukweli wa habari, na hii ni DTM TV Nyanya, na mimi ni wenu wa kila siku Elijah Meru, nikiwatangazia moja kwa moja kutoka nchini Denmark, mjini Troas. Kipindi hiki kitakuwa kikiwajia kutoka sasa hivi kutokea saa 3 kila siku, saa 3 za usiku mpaka saa 4. Hii ni appointment ambayo tunaichukua, yaani kila siku kutokea saa 3 usiku mpaka saa 4. Ni matumaini yangu ya kwamba kila kitu kitakuwa sawa, na iwapo kutakuwepo jambo lolote ambalo litafanya kwamba tusiwe pamoja, basi nitawajuzeni, lakini nataka tupate nafasi hii kila siku tuzungumze. Na ikiwa wewe pia unataka kushiriki, unaweza kutuma ujumbe, unaweza kucomment pale, unaweza kuuliza swali, au unaweza hata ukapata nafasi ya kuzungumza. Leo nataka tuzungumuze usiku wa leo kidogo kuhusu shetani. Shetani ni nani? Kwa sababu nasikia watu sana wanamuongea juu ya shetani, na ile picha ambayo nimeona watu wengi wamepewa ni kwamba shetani ni mnyama fulani hivi wa mapembe, anamkia mrefu, and in most cases utapata kwamba he looks ugly, he is black, the devil, and this is what I want to discuss with you tonight. Who is the devil? Who is Satan? Because that's what we've been made to believe. And the African man is very, very afraid of the devil. Sijui kwa nini tunamuogopa shetani kiango kile. Na leo nataka nijaribu kuangalia kwa nini na uongo mwingi ambao tumeelezwa kuhusu shetani. Na kabla sijaendelea, kuna kabinti kangu tu ambao kalikuwa kadogo tu, miaka kama 2 hivi, na mamake alikuwa anazoea kumtisha. Kuna rafiki mmoja wa kizungu alikuwa anazoea kuwatembelea, anakuja na umbwa ambaye alikuwa anamuita Tyson, Sasa yule umbwa Tyson, kila wakati alikuwa akija, ule mtoto anakimbia, akifanya kitu kibaya wanamshtua, wanamwambia utakuitia Tyson, Basi yule mtoto akawa anaogopa kwamba hata wakati ambapo Tyson hayuko, wanamtisha tu, akilia wanamwambia utakuitia Tyson, akikataa kula wanamwambia utakuitia Tyson. Na basi ilikuwa kama nyimbo fulani mtoto aliyoimbiwa, na akaogopa kweli kweli. Lakini wakati mtoto anaendeleza miaka 6, mamake anamwambia siku moja ati nitakuitia Tyson, Sasa yule mtoto akaangalia mamake akacheka, wakati mamake anamwambia atamuitia Tyson, And so nikauliza kale katoto, kwa nini unacheka? Why are you laughing? Mamako anakuambia tutapita sasa, Tyson exist. Tyson ni fantasy ya mama. Ati Tyson anaishi tu kwa kichwa ya mama yangu, exist. Yaani kuna wakati ambapo mtoto alifika akakomaa na ka-understand ya kwamba hivi tisho na tishwaga ya Tyson ni njia fulani tu ya kunikataza nisidai haki yangu. Na ni kama alikuwa anaangalia miaka hiyo yote anaambiwaga Tyson na Tyson haonekanagi. Mtoto akaamua kudecide kukataa, kukuwa intimidated, kutishwa kila wakati na au Tyson. Na nafikiri pia kwa wengine wetu hii ndiyo njia ambayo imefanyika pia, kwamba tunaitiwa Tyson ambaye anaitwa kama mnyama wa kututisha na kutuogofya. Unajua wakati fulani kila wakati ukiangalia kama huku Uholanzi ambapo kumewekwa ile gereza ya dakika 2 kidogo tafadhali. So nataka kujiuliza kwa nini Tyson, kwa nini shetani kila mara wale ambao wanamchora wamekuwa wakituonyesha kwamba shetani ni mweusi, na kila kitu ambacho kinahusiana na black color au la couleur noire kinaonekana ni kitu kibaya, na sisi tumewaambia pia kwamba sisi ni watu weusi. Hizi vitu zote nitajaribu kuziingilia tu haraka haraka tu tukiongea juu ya shetani. Who is the devil, I don't even know kama ungetaka labda hapa kwenye link ya comment pale unaweza kuniachia message pale lugha gani ambayo ungependa tuongee, kwa sababu mpaka sasa hivi niko katika I am in a little bit confusion. I'm not sure if I should be speaking in English or in Swahili or in French. Kwa hiyo kwa wale ambao mnanisikiliza, please weka comment pale na useme lugha ambayo ingekufurahisha kwamba tufanye kipindi hiki kwa lugha hiyo. Lakini haizuru, kile ambacho nataka kuzungumzia ni kwamba Tyson, huyu mnyama ambaye au huyu umbu ambaye walimtumia kumtisha huyu mtoto, alipokuwa kila mara analia, mtoto alikuja kuelewa ya kwamba Tyson haexist. Na hii ndio nimekutana kana kwamba watu wengi wamechukua Shetani kama vile mnyama ambaye anatumiwa kwa kuwatisha Waafrika peke yake na hakuna mtu mwingine. Kwa hiyo nawangoja na wasubiri, and as I'm saying, please andika lugha ambayo please let me know the language you would like us to use for this program. Ninawasubiri. I'm waiting for you, and I also want the comment on what language you want me to post this program in. Karibuni tena wapendwa watazamaji katika kipindi chetu mnachokienzi, ukweli wa habari, na hii ni TTM TV Nyanya. Tafadhali niandikieni hapo chini lugha ambayo mngependa tufanye nayo kipindi. I can see we have some people online. Tell me the language, lugha ambayo mngependa: Kiswahili, Kifaransa, Kiingereza. Quelle langue vous voudriez qu'on puisse utiliser, parce que nous voulons discuter ensemble, on voudrait que la langue qu'on utilise, qu'on soit en mesure de s'entendre. Alors, tafadhalini nielezeni ni lugha gani ambayo mnapendezwa nayo. Yes. Karibuni, nawasubiri mje ili kwamba tuweze kufanya kipindi hiki kwa pamoja. I am waiting for you so that together we can conduct this program. I am waiting for you so that together we can conduct this program. I am waiting for you so that together we can conduct this program. I am waiting for you so Yes. Wacha tutaendelea tu kwa Kiswahili vile tulikuwa tumeanza. Ni kama nilivyokuwa nasema ya kwamba tunataka tujifunze shetani ni nani. Shetani ni nani? Shetani ni nani? Na kwa nini shetani kila mara anaonekana analetwa akiwa na mapembe, akiwa mweusi? Je, shetani ni rangi ya binadamu, au kwa sababu tumedanganywa kwa hii kwamba kitu chote ambacho ni cheusi ni kibaya? Wanasema black market, wanasema the devil is black, shetani mweusi na kila kitu ni cheusi. Na jioni ya leo ningetaka tu kwa pamoja tuweze kushirikiana kuweza kuongea, na kila mara huwa napenda kuongea na ndugu zangu ninyi ambao ni Waafrika, ndugu zangu ambao mko katika ughaibuni huku na wale ambao tuko nyumbani. Natamani tu kama kila siku ya Jumamosi kuanzia Jumatatu lendia au Monday mpaka Friday, we will be on air trying to discuss together what several issues. And I'm really confused a little bit here because I need to know what is the language that we need to use. And let me combine. I'll be talking in English and Swahili and so on and so forth. But tonight I want to talk, this is a program that we are doing so that we can decolonize our mind, because there are so many things that are happening in our lives today, in the world that we're living today. And what I believe, what I can see is that we have been programmed to think in a certain way. And so many things that we have been seeing or we have believed in, which is very difficult to deprogramming our minds in the first place. And tonight I want us to discuss about who is the devil? Why is the devil said to be black? Is it about the color, or is it something else? Why is it every time we are told the devil is black, and when they want to talk about anything negative, they show us black color? And I think that's why some of us, we have this inferiority complex, and we see black people hating themselves, black people hating those who look like them. So tonight, what I want to discuss, we wanted to discuss about the devil and about all these things. And tonight I wanted us to share a word from the book of John quickly. I'm not preaching tonight, but I wanted just to discuss about this, because whether you are a believer, whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are an unbeliever, to some extent we've been made to believe that there is a being called the devil or Satan. Now, this being, unfortunately, today is made to be more about the color, you understand? And tonight I'm wondering, and I wanted us to discuss, and I wanted at least to question the Bible and to talk about one man, one writer in the Bible whose name is John. I don't know much, but what I want to say about John is that he wrote extensively about this issue to do with the devil. Now I wanted us to read from the book of John chapter 8. Yes, John chapter 8. That's what I want us to read, and together give me some few minutes. I'll be just there and we will discuss together and try to deprogram our mind, because so many things have been said about us which are all lies. John chapter 8 and verse 44. That's the scripture that I want us to read. Yes, I've been a preacher for some times, even though I'm questioning so many things that I believed in, so many things that I preached yesterday. And anyway, the Bible is still there. We can still learn 2 or 3 things from it. The problem with us is that we use the same Bible not to inform ourselves, but to be programmed again and to just say things that we've been told to believe. In the book of John chapter 8 verse 44, these are the words of Jesus, peace be upon him. He said, "You are from your father the devil." You know, Jesus, when he was explaining about the devil, he says, and you choose to do your father's desire. So Jesus is presenting the devil to us here as a character, as somebody, as a behavior, as a habit, He says he was a murderer, It's about what one does that we are able to know if he is a devil or not. It's not about his color, it's not about his form, it's not about his shape, it's not about how he looks like, but it's about his deeds. It's about what he does. And Jesus is saying here, you are of your father, the devil. Why? Because he was a murderer. Anyone who is a murderer, I want you to notice that, is of the devil. He was the murderer from the beginning, does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. If somebody tells lies, if somebody comes with so-called truth, but he paints it just to trick you, this is a son of the devil. This is a characteristic of the devil. And the scripture says that when the devil lies, he speaks his mother tongue. I don't know if the devil has a mother, but he says, the scripture says that the devil's mother tongue is lies. Now, these are very important things that we need to understand tonight as we start to understand why have we been programmed in a certain way? Why has religion been played and used against some people to dominate them by some other people? And this might not sound well with some people because of the way, because of many years of being taught in a certain way, being taught some lies. When lies are repeatedly, you are told lies repeatedly, you begin to believe them, and they look like the truth. Now, Jesus is talking here, is not saying of the color of the devil, that he is black, that he is white, that he is yellow. Because even this issue to do with colors, I'll talk about them later, has nothing to do with divinity or somebody being of the devil or being of God or being this or that. Now, the scripture is saying that the devil is a murderer, the devil is a thief, the devil is a liar. Three important characteristics of the devil. So it's about their behavior. It's about their morality. It's about what they do. It is not about how they look like. Because some people have made us to believe that the devil has some kind of funny shape, like he's of this kind of color. He's black, to be precise. But it has nothing to do with all these things. When you go further and read in John chapter 10 and verse 10, Jesus says that the devil comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. But I have come so that we may have life, and life abundantly. So all these characteristics, it's more about what the person does. And this brings me to a conclusion that the devil might not be who we think he is. Because the devil, being a spirit, then we can see him in what some people do, in their behavior. And tell me, who are the people who are liars? Who are these people who go around the world presenting themselves as if they were this, and then in reality, they are not. In reality, they come like they're coming to help you, but in reality, they're coming to finish you. Who are these people who are ready to kill anyone, provide this person is standing in their way of getting money. Tell me, who are these people who have the history for centuries, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, not for 3 years, not for 10 years, but for centuries, for hundreds of years. These people have been in other continent, in other people's countries, and they come imposing their religion on these people. And at the end of the day, they kill, they plunder, they take everything. Go in some museum here in Europe, you know. These museums are full of items that were stolen in other countries, in Africa to be precise, on our continent. And these people, you know, when they were coming in my place, I remember when I was still a young boy, you know, they used to go in villages and telling people to bring these statues and anything and gold and minerals, you know, and saying all these things are of the devil. Again, we're talking about the devil. And so anyone who has this must surrender them to the priest. They must surrender them to the pastor. They must surrender. And these people bring these things to the priest, you know, and those things are brought here in Europe. They are in museum. They are in different places. And today people are paying to go and visit and see this stuff. Who are the people who invent some other countries in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, in Australia, in everywhere? Who are they? And when they go there, they steal. I remember there is this wonderful question a journalist asked the former African Union ambassador, Ambassador Chiombori, and she was asking this question that what does she think? Because the ambassador is from Zambia, is from Zimbabwe, though she's married to a Ghanaian. And she was asking the question to know what is her take about people taking away the lands from the white settlers in Zimbabwe. And I like the way she answered, she responded to that question, because she tried to bring the history, how the forefathers of these settlers in the first place got those land, and how they killed people, chased them away from their own land and occupied those lands without paying a penny. And yet they came with a Bible. They came with religion. They imposed this religion on us. And this is a question we're asking. What makes us believe this religion is good? And even if the religion is good, what makes us believe that the way they taught it, because religion, the teachings, how do I put it? The book might not be completely false, but the way it's presented might be dangerous. Somebody might give you food, but in that food they have put some poison. It doesn't mean like eating is a problem. Eating fish, eating ugali or something like that is a problem. But the person who cooked, and these are the ingredients that they put inside with the intention of harming you, with the intention of doing something bad against you, is the problem. Look, for instance, because I'm talking about the devil, and I want just to talk about their fear characteristic. According to what John says, he says that the devil is a liar, the devil is a thief, the devil is a murderer. Understand? The devil is all this stuff. It's not about his color. It's not about how he looks like. It's about what he does. That's what makes him the devil. Have you ever looked at on the world map? Or have you even heard these narratives about the continent of Africa? I remember one president, one young president in Europe, I don't want to mention his name anyway, not doing his publicity. And he was talking, his predecessor first said, Africa has not been in history enough. The Africans are not in history. And I don't think he was stupid, but I just think he was just doing what, he was just speaking his mother tongue. Because the Bible is saying that the devil, when he speaks lies, he's speaking the language of his mother. He's speaking his mother tongue. And Sarkozy said that we are not in history, while we are the mother of history. You know, this is one of his successor saying that the problem of Africa is that because Africa has so many children per woman, and he was saying that one woman in Africa has got 7, 6 children, and so on. So that Africa must be underpopulated, we must do everything to reduce the population of the continent of Africa. But now I have some numbers here that I want us to share with you. And those of you who are listening to me, because I want to uncover this mask of the devil. Did you know that the continent of Africa area, how big it is, you know? The continent of Africa is 30.37 million square kilometers. 30 million square kilometers, right? If you knew that, do you know that China and India and Europe all combined, plus the United States of America, I repeat that again, China, India, Europe, and the USA all combined can fit into the size of Africa, and there will not be enough. Because China is 9 million square meters, India is 3 million square meters, Europe is 10 million square meters, and USA 9 million square meters. If you add USA, Europe, India, and China, all those continents, if you like, you get then the size of Africa. But we've been made, and listen, the continent of Africa is only 30 million square kilometers, as I said, and it has only 1.4 billion. If the statistics that is brought to us is anything to go by, 1.4 billion or 1,400 million, 1,400 million or 1.4 billion human being on an area of 30 million kilometers. While China, which is only 9 million, note that down, has 1.4 billion, just like the whole continent of Africa. There are only 9, so China can fit into Africa 3 times, but its population is the same as the population of Africa. India is also 1.4 billion. The population of India, the population of China, the population of Africa is the same, 1.4, 1.4, 1.4. And yet the area of India is only 3 million square kilometers. It's almost the size of Congo, DRC, because Congo is 2.4 million square kilometers. And yet The population, the size of the population in India is almost the size of the whole continent of Africa. Go to Europe, the whole of Europe combined, except Russia, because Russia is both in Europe and in Asia. And when we're talking about Europe, we don't count Russia. Now, Europe has 10.18 million, 10 million, you would say, 10 million square meters, and with a population of 747 million human beings. The USA, 9 million, with a population of 328 million, making all China, India, Europe, and USA, they have how many are they? They have 3.9 billion. You will say almost 4 billion human beings. All those three continents, you will say. Europe, China, India, and the United States of America. And yet, in size, it's the same size as Africa. In Africa, we only have 1.4 billion, and the same size, which is Europe, China, USA, and India, have 4 billion people. Now, those who are bringing us numbers to say that we are overpopulated, where do they get these numbers? Where did they get these numbers? That's what I'm asking. And even when you see the size, if you look at the map, the way they have drawn it, you see they have shrinked the size of Africa to look like a small thing. If they were to really, of course, they are playing with the mind. That's why I'm thinking about the devil, you know. This is interesting. Now, if you look at the size of Africa, it should be the United States of America, the India, China, and Europe all combined. If you combine all those 4 areas, then you have the size of Africa. But if you look on that map, you see it's different. I'm told that even in Australia, the map they turn, they don't accept the way it is. They always turn it upside down because they say it has been made to be the way it is so as to show some kind of dominance of certain people against other people. And so the Australian choose to overturn it, you know. And so somebody might ask, why is this important? This is important because we have had this narrative over and over and over again that we are so many in Africa, that we're having so many children, that we are poor. This is another story. We're talking a story for another day. That we are poor, that we are third world country, we are emerging economy, we are developing countries. There are new terminologies that are always made to describe us, you know, and they're saying like that's why this issue of abortion have been introduced on the continent. That's why the issue of homosexuality is being touted outside there. And any president or leader who doesn't accept that disease, called all kind of names, can even be killed. We know of a number of presidents and leaders who have been killed just because of standing in the ways. We have never seen other people, even as we talk, who go around killing other people, telling other people what to do and what not to do, you know. And so this is why this is important. These numbers are important. This is why what we're talking about here is very key. We must understand this. If we don't understand this, we will not understand where we're going, you know. And even this issue to do with color, dividing people in color, saying these people are black, those other people are white, those other people are, don't know, yellow, and others are red, right? Yellow, red, black, and white. I wonder, when I look at my color here, I'm not black. Black perhaps will be the color of my hairs. Black is the color of this my phone. It's black. And if you look clearly, this is different. These are two different colors, right? And even those who are said to be white, they're not white. You will say perhaps they are pink, something like that. And even those who are said to be yellow, they're not yellow, they are brown. And I don't know why some people chose just to classify people by color and discriminate against them just because of the way they look like. And unfortunately, theologian who went to seminary, who went to cemetery to bury their spirit, their conscience, and to come and teach us nonsense. I've been in seminary myself. I've been in Bible school myself for years. Those who know me know very well that I'm not talking about what I don't know. Now, this is a very new thing. It's not like people were classified by color long time ago. This is just something that just started the other day here, with some people wanting to dominate other people. And today is a whole story. And I hear people all around, Black Lives Matter, I don't know this. Man, if somebody is doing and working day and night, doing everything they can to dominate you, and that their existence, their survival depends on how much they dominate over you. Do you think by just going around and marching and saying black, because even this movement, myself, I sit down and ask myself, do we really own these narratives? Are we in charge of even these movements? Because all these movements, sometimes the people start these movements, these civil movements, and somehow they get hijacked again by our own enemies. And if we don't address religion very carefully, the liberation of the continent of Africa will be a myth. That's why I'm talking about decolonizing the mind. And I know what I'm talking here can be very confusing to so many people. Some people will not even understand what I'm trying to talk here because the mind has been already programmed such a way that it's difficult to tell them something different. But you ask yourself questions to say, why is it that we are on the continent, we sit on the continent with the most fertile soil on planet Earth, with rivers and water everywhere, with all kind of minerals everywhere, with petrol and all other natural resources that you can talk about. But realize we are the poorest, quote unquote, because even the parameters of deciding and saying who is rich and who is poor is again debatable, because when you go in some places here where you find even classification of food, like the organic food, non-organic food, when you find just a fruit, an avocado, how much it costs, and go on those places, those places where they say, like in Africa, on the continent to be precise, where they tell you that people are poor, see how much food, organic food, because everything there is organic. Here, organic is reserved for the rich. So all this debate about rich and poor, about developing and developed countries and all this, and third country and first world country, all these are bullshit. we've been programmed this way. Now there are new terminologies, globalizations and stuff, you know. And that's why I'm trying to debate and discuss with us tonight. I was starting with a story that I talked about a young, small girl, you know, who was 2 years, and her mother kept on telling her about that there is a family, you know, friend which was used to come and visit them. They had a big dog called Tyson. And so this young child, this small girl, every time she could make some noise or the mother wanted to threaten her, she would tell her, Tyson is coming. And this child, if she was crying, if she was refusing to eat or doing anything, she could do it immediately because she was afraid of Tyson. But some few years later, when the girl became 6 years, not very old, just 6 years, the mother says, Tyson is coming. And that girl laughs. And I was there, I couldn't understand, ask her, why are you laughing? And she said, that's my mother's, what did she say? Fantasy, you know. So this little girl at the age of 6, she has been manipulated for 4 years to be told every time that Tyson, who is non-existent because the Tyson did not live or exist in their house in the first place, but because she saw this Tyson when she was 2 years old, now every time she was being reminded about Tyson, and Tyson was nowhere to be found. This is how some people have used religion and the devil, to be precise. And that's why you see, I'm bringing this chapter because you see, Black people, if we will do things that we like because we like them and live the way we need to live because we think it's right, that will be okay. Than being intimidated every time that we will go to hell, you know, we do this, we do that, the devil will do this, we'll go, you know, as if the devil was created for us, as if hell was created for us. And I wonder, why is it that the devil is only mentioned when it's about us? When other people go around the world killing people, stealing from other people, lying to people, presenting this while they're bringing something else to those people. These people do not fear the devil. The devil is only brand to us, and now we are the major problem. We preachers, we leaders, talk about the political leaders, talk about religious leaders, talk about even traditional leaders, because we've been made to believe some nonsense. Because even the word devil, Satan, if you look in so many African languages, this word does not exist. Tell me, tell me the name of Satan in your language. And don't just say Satan, because if you say Shetani, like we say in Swahili, for example, Shetani, that's not, you understand, it's just a borrowed word, you know, like the English people borrowed this a safari from Swahili. It doesn't make safari an English word. It can be used in English, but the origin is from Swahili. Understand? And so these things here, I believe today, some people are happy when, and that's what I can just see. All the countries, and these are facts, all the countries which are so-called Christian, apart from the United States and of course the European countries here, there are few countries which are prosperous. Few countries. Let me give you some examples. India's economy is growing faster. It's becoming so-called fast in the fast world economy, right? But are they Christian? The answer is no. Go to India. Are they Christian? To China. Are they Christian? No. Go to North America, to North Korea, even though they call the president the leader dictator, because that's what some people do. If you are working for your people, their media and the fake news, as Trump calls it, he calls them, they will try and paint you white when you are black, or paint you blue when you are green. Go to countries like Japan. Do you remember when this church, the cathedral, was burnt in France? Do you remember the kind of statues which were displayed in that cathedral, and how the French people were crying? And I was ashamed of myself seeing the African president sending millions to France while their own people are starving. Or they want to help rebuild that cathedral. As I conclude this, because I'm running out of time, I'm saying this: the devil has nothing to do with color. The devil is not a beast with a long tail and some horn. The devil is a human being, and that human being is about their habit, it's about what they do, it's about their behavior. And we've just talked about 4 of them. We've talked about stealing. And I didn't go in details, but you know the people who have been going around the world stealing from others. Leave alone this somebody going and in the neighbor's house to take a TV. No. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about nations going in other nations, killing president, killing leaders, looting and stealing petrol, minerals, diamond, gold, cobalt, zinc, and everything possible so that they might survive back home. People who steal. Who are the people who have the history of killing everywhere they go? Everywhere they go, they must kill. Who are those people? And the scripture is, my God, the Bible is saying clearly the devil is a murderer. What other language now? To cover up all these behaviors, what people do, they have chosen to just bring it to a mere color. The devil is black. And so the black people go around pitting themselves because black, black market, black this, black that, black this. Everything black is associated with evil, which is not true, which is a lie. And we read that the mother tongue of the devil is speaking lies. Brothers and sisters, as I talk this, I want to conclude and say, if you have ever, these days we have these movements of African American and African in the diaspora and African all over the world having this intention of wanting to go back on the continent. And even those of the continental Africans who have been outside the continent are also trying to do everything they can to bring their contribution on the continent. But 40% of Africans are Muslim, 40% are Christian, and the other 20% practice some kind of religion. And those who remain traditionalists are just a few. And even those called traditionalists, they're just, we have forgotten, because for hundreds of years, our culture, our religion, our tradition have been erased. And that's why we do not know ourselves anymore. So my prayer is that we will try and talk together I have been a preacher all my life, and I've been a preacher in Congo. I've been a preacher in Kenya. I've been a preacher in Denmark, where I am. But I think I'll speak the same way as the Apostle Paul did. He said, when I was a child, I reasoned as a child. I thought as a child. I did everything as a child. But now I have grown and I've changed my ways. You know, sometimes we do things because that's how we learn them. We learn the same things from people we trust the most, from our parents, from our friends, from our neighbors. You know, this religion thing is embedded in some of our bloods. And unfortunately, even if you go in most African parts, you will realize that even the traditional, the chiefs, who are supposed to protect our people, they're the same people who today are doing the opposite. As I said, I haven't had so much comments. I hope that people will comment later. I've been forced to try and do this in English because I was trying to do it in Swahili. I'm not sure how many people would have followed in Swahili, because I'll repeat tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be again here at 8 o'clock, as at 9 o'clock, the time, like the same hour of Europe. I don't know where you'll be watching from. We'll do that. We'll try and do that consistently every night at 9, European or Denmark or Copenhagen time. I don't know what time it would be in your own area. But I want to conclude this by saying, what makes you think that what you know, what you think you know, is what you know? And what makes you think that what you know is the truth? That you are not able to even challenge that which you know. I want to finish this by giving you my own testimony as I conclude. When I first came here in Denmark, I had my own education. I've done theology and stuff, and arriving here, I realized that I couldn't use my education. Then I chose to go back to university. And to some extent, I had to start again the first year, even though I had already some other degrees. And when I went to school, I was shocked to be told that in the system here in Denmark, for those of you who live here or who have ever been here, that people do exam with open books. Like during your exam, you are allowed to take everything, your notes, your books, and to sometimes you can even use the internet. And I was wondering, how on earth can somebody do the exam with open books and then fail? Because there are still people who fail, are not there, who are not even able to get 2, which is like 50%. And I was mocking them. But then when I attend the school, when I did my first exam and my second exam, I realized theirs is totally different from what I've been used to. On the continent, I was used to cram stuff, to read and they memorize everything that I'm told without thinking. And when I'm asking the question, I'll just bring all those stuff that I memorized in my head. But here, I learned it's not about memorizing, it's about thinking. It is about the application. How do you apply that which you've learned? Okay, you have the books, you have the notes, you have everything you have written there. It's not enough seeing them or cramming or copying everything that is written or that you had in the book. You can copy the whole book and put in the exam, but it's not enough. The lecturer wants to see how are you able to take that which you've learned and reason outside the box. And someone in Africa says, think even without the box altogether. You don't need to think outside the box. You just need to remove even the box and think for yourself. And this is the problem even with religion, because with religion, we've made to believe not to think, but to just believe. When I went to the theology school, we were taught about dogma. You know, dogma. Dogma is you to believe without questioning. When we are we talk about Trinity. You know, three gods in one, and that you should just believe without thinking. That if you question so much, you become this and that. But we need to think, my brothers and sisters. If we are to liberate, I'm starting from the ground, and we'll talk a little bit more, even as we invite also other speakers who would perhaps, because I'm not claiming, this is my own opinion. I'm not claiming that what I'm saying is the gospel and that everybody must follow it. But I'm just giving my own opinion because I'm trying to find the solution and asking myself questions. Why is it that all these years we've been dominated and that we're doing nothing? We can't see what is being done, not even our political leaders, especially when we're talking those of us, our friends or brothers who are living like in the Americas and stuff. They're trying. There's so many movements there. And people are trying to wake up, and even though people are being killed every day because of how they look like, but you see like people are awake. But going back on the continent, what our presidents do, what our politicians do, what our religious people do, you ask yourself questions. How can people with the right mind do what they are doing? How can they cooperate with the people who are killing us? How can we cooperate with people who are plundering our resources? How can they cooperate with people who are doing this to us for heaven's sake? People who are using even the institution. I remember Obama when he went to Ghana. Was it Ghana to the African Union in Addis Ababa? When he talked about the famous speech that Africa does not need strong men, it needs strong institutions. Even institutions have been hijacked because even those institutions are led by people. And it's my opinion that religion has a big role to play. If we are to resolve some of the issues that we are facing on the continent, we must revisit our spirituality. We must revisit what we teach. Those of us who are teachers of the word, those of us who are preachers, those of us who are uh, made to lead others. Because, mind you, all the politicians and even executive in the corporate world and all the other people, to some extent, they attend some spiritual organization. They attend church, they attend a mosque or some other stuff. And so if the preacher is not enlightened, whatever he has is what he will transmit to these people. And what these people will receive is what they will also use wherever they will be in their position of leadership. Now, if you will be always fearing the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil, and saying he's black, he's this, don't want to go to hell and stuff. And I'm not telling people to live carelessly. Far from it. We had, even in Africa, we believed in ancestors, and we believe that if you do good, you go and live together with the ancestors and stuff like this. But what I'm trying to say, can we go a little bit away from this nonsense? I have watched some movies of Jesus, for example, where Jesus is white, all the disciples are white, all the characters in the Bible are white, and nowhere I found a black person. And even when you go in the interior villages in Africa, for example, you see the pictures of this Jesus, the pictures of Mary, the pictures of angels, they're all white. In the villages, for heaven's sake, even in places where people have never seen a white person. White, for a lack of a better word, because I don't believe anyone is white anyway. Or just call them Caucasian if you like. It makes sense when I move in the city of Copenhagen and see in front of a church a picture of a white blah blah. That's people can relate to that, because everybody there looks like them. But how on earth do you go in a village and present a picture of somebody who does not look like you and say this is Jesus, this is the Son of God? And that person, and another picture of somebody who looks like me, and tell me that is the devil, that is Satan. And we don't question all these things. So a few years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago, one of the biggest statues of the white Jesus was installed somewhere in Nigeria. I was watching a documentary of the largest cathedral in the world, bigger than even the one in Rome, in the Vatican, built by one African leader in Cote d'Ivoire, with the statue of people who don't look like the people of that area. And you want these people to have to have the self-confidence? How? These are some of the questions that I ask myself. What happened to our brains? This is something that I want us to discuss about for the next few years, because I'm not ready to live without talking to my people about this topic, because it's a very interesting topic. I believe from my heart, I believe in the creator of heaven and earth. I believe in a super power. I believe in God to be just brief, but I question these are the kind of teaching which has only the intention of dominating other nations. I believe we could continue and continue, but thank you for listening to me. And if you have any question, please, you can just leave it. You can just write in the comment section. If this was your first time to visit us, whether on Facebook, please hit that like button, or if you are on YouTube, please like our hit that like button and subscribe on our channel and share this video if you think like somebody might be helped with it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and see you next time again. And you can also visit us on our website, which is www.enyanya enyanya.com, and we will be glad to see your comments. Thank you so much for listening to me and for sharing this to our friends, and see you tomorrow again at the same place, same time. Bye bye. Ciao. I love you. I'm Elijah, your brother in the fight. Thank you so much, and God bless you. See you tomorrow.